Hey everyone, welcome to another Movie Money Mashup. I've realized that I love calling it Movie Money Mashup, even though I think it's Money Movie Mashup, but I think Movie Money is better. So next time when we redo it, we'll do that. So a couple things to go over. If you have any questions that you want to put in as we're talking, feel free to put it in the comments and Coach Laura and I will do our best to answer them. And then, hey, if you missed this live, don't miss this. You can get a hold and get in touch with the Movie Money Mashup on my YouTube channel. Just go to Coach David on YouTube and you should be able to find it. Right now, it just started, still completely under construction, so we're working on that. But I am putting all the library of the Movie Money Mashups because they get deleted on Facebook after a while, so I'm moving them over to there. And I don't know what happened last week, but somehow our faces blew up. So I apologize for Laura and my giant faces getting into there. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Tombstone, a great movie, 1993. I was only about 5 years old when it came out. So I'm going to share a little synopsis of Tombstone while I'm waiting for Coach Laura to get on here. All right, so this was a Western. And back then, I love movies, I love Westerns, but back then, there wasn't a lot of Westerns being made anymore. There was Unforgiven, which isn't my favorite. It's just depressing. But this one is a real story. So I'll go through this. Legendary lawman Wyatt Earp moved to the town of Tombstone, Arizona, hoping to retire peacefully with his brothers. He wants to get his family back together. Because in history, because these are real dudes, they've all been around and they've been different lawmen in different areas and all that. So they come here, they just want to do their own thing. And so, but trouble arises when a violent outlaw gang called the Cowboys, these are real dudes, threatens the town's safety. Earp, along with his close friend Doc Holliday, is drawn back into law enforcement. The film builds towards a dramatic confrontation at the OK Corral. This really happened. And a larger quest for justice and vengeance. So here's what's so cool about this. I actually have been to the real town of Tombstone in Arizona. And they showed how this movie connects with in the timing and how quick the gunfight at the OK Corral was, that this movie has it the closest it could possibly be in reality of how quick the fight took place. So it was fantastic in that way. And yeah, one of my most favorite movies and one of the best. Oh, there she is. Besides being super cool, one of my favorites, this movie also has some of the best music I have ever heard in my life. And actually, before I got on here, I was jamming to the soundtrack again. What about you, Lauren?
Oh, that's cool. I had so much fun watching this. I watched it with my husband last night, and my kids were like, I want to watch. Do people get shot? And I was like, yes. So they came and they watched. But I thought that I think this movie is fabulous. I think it's amazing. I'm so glad that we're having this conversation. It's gonna be a fun one.
Oh yeah. Well, what I really I just went over the synopsis and all that. But one of the I don't know if you knew this. I was just sharing with everybody else, Laura, that this has one of the most realistic, like this gunfight, this version, because it had been done in many movies before, but this version was the closest to reality of any movie ever.
I mean, it was, and I was really impressed with the gun work, just like the scene where it's Doc Holliday and the other guy, and they're like throwing their pistols around.
What? You're forgetting? Like, you're forgetting Johnny Ringo?
Oh, that's his name. Yeah, sorry. But then Doc Holliday does it with the cup. He's like, what, you think you're cool? You're not. And I was like, what an interesting way to diffuse the situation. Like,
well, that's interesting you say that. Is he diffusing, or is it just, I'll get you later, you bum?
I mean, both. Both. Like, I'm not scared of you. I can do whatever I want. And
yeah. Because Doc Holliday
he literally has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dying anyway.
Yeah. Just for the audience, if anybody hadn't watched it, Doc Holliday had tuberculosis, so he didn't care. He didn't care. All right, Laura. So I did the synopsis and all that, so I'll let you start with the first lesson of money that you learned from this movie.
Can I before can I just make one more observation point?
Oh yeah, of course.
The train number is 5150, which is the police code for crazy.
Oh, really?
They're literally on the crazy train.
Oh, cool. You know, I had no idea that that's what those numbers meant. Isn't there a Van Halen album that's 5150?
Yes. And
Yeah.
there's a country song by Dirk Bentley, 5150.
Oh,
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah, it's about you being crazy. Use crazy, 5150. Whenever there's a 72-hour cycle, it's 5150. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. They were on the crazy train. I was like, yeah, they are. Going off the rails on the crazy train. Okay, so the first lesson, I think it's a pretty obvious one. You got to know when to walk away from the game.
Oh.
Okay. They gamble a lot, both with their safety, with actual gambling at the saloon. And sometimes we just need to know when to walk away. And it kind of hit me in the beginning when Wyatt Earp, like, anytime somebody would come up to him and be like, hey, he's like, no, I retired.
Yeah.
I walked away from, like, no, I retired. Like, he literally said, I want to build wealth, and I want to build, he wanted to build a future with his wife. Yeah. And they're like, well, I've never met a man without a wealthy man without a guilty conscience. And he's like, well, I already have a guilty conscience. I might as well make some money too. And I was like, good for you, sir. You say what your values are and you keep going. Good for you.
But okay, so that's interesting, because that also, I feel like, connects with family boundaries.
Yes.
Right? Because he states clearly, this is what I want. I don't want to do this anymore. He kind of ends up doing it, though.
I think he does fully end up doing that. Yes.
Yeah. And so when we want to accomplish something or change something in our lives, you know, whether it be getting out of debt or moving away for a better opportunity or whatever, family plays a role.
Uh-huh.
And could he have done this differently?
Yes, of course he could have.
Okay. What would you do if you were Wyatt Earp?
Differently.
Yeah. Like how would you in Wyatt Earp's shoes have gotten out of the situation? Just left Tombstone?
I mean, it probably would have been a good idea. But I mean, I think when you are a certain type of person, your character is going to show. This has nothing to do with any of my notes, but when you're a certain type of person, your character is going to show. Yeah. Regardless. He was a lawman, period. Did he want to go into business? Yes. But he has a true sense of justice.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that could happen around him that wouldn't allow him to stay a person that believes in justice.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, going on that, some of the, a note that I made regarding money is that he wanted to make money so bad that he put himself into a dangerous situation and kind of stayed there longer than he should have. You know, with the safety of the family and his brothers, that they were, you know, when Morgan gets shot, they were hanging out at the saloon, still trying to make that cheddar, right? Ooh, you froze a little bit, Lauren.
Well, I think at one point they had even had a conversation about, hey, let's just pick up and go.
Yeah.
And there's the balance. You know, we are starting to set down roots here. Yeah. Like we don't want to go. It's easy here. Yeah. But sometimes what's best overall needs to be taken into consideration as opposed to what's best right now.
So on that note, for the audience, this movie is an action movie. Maybe not the most realistic thing, but we'll try and, you know, like, I'm trying to think of a good example of, you know, you are pushing for something. It could be, you know, we see where we're living right now. We really want to be here because of this reason or that reason, but we actually can't afford it.
Yeah.
And it could be that we come back here or we shift, but, you know, things like that are, you know, more of a realistic, you know, not being shot by the Cowboys version of that. And another thing that I was thinking about, you know, it's the overall having that big reason why.
Yes.
You know, and in this movie, friendship is really one of the biggest themes of it between Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp. And so when those two, they make the choices based on love for each other and working through those things. And Doc ultimately, basically, he's like, I don't care. I'm just going to try and save my friend, because who knows if Wyatt Earp could have actually taken Ringo.
I don't know.
Because he was on the crazy train.
Off the rails.
Yeah. Did you notice this was Billy Bob Thornton's first movie ever?
Okay, so it was so funny. My husband looks at me and goes, Is that guy that used to be married to Angelina Jolie with the blood? And I was like, what? No. Is it? And it took me a couple minutes. Like I was like, yeah. Okay. What's his name? Hayden Church.
Yeah, Thomas Hayden Church.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, he has another name that I can't remember. Thomas Hayden Church. The second he walks in, I was like, oh, there's the guy from George of the Jungle. Because
George of the Jungle.
That's how they know him.
George of the Jungle, and also Spider-Man 3. Remember, he was Sandman in Spider-Man 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man is prolific. But it was just so funny that I was like, look at him. Totally forgot he was in it. It was great.
Yeah, and Billy Bob, he used to be a little heftier of a fella. I actually, earlier this week, just juxtaposition, I saw him in a commercial for T-Mobile, and he's just like all skinny and old now, and yeah. He was a heftier guy in 1993. How old were you in 1993? 4?
6?
Oh, 6? Okay, yeah, I was 5.
Way to tell everybody you're older than me. You're younger than me, David. I don't want to be old.
Sorry. Never mind. I'm just kidding. Mom, don't correct that.
Totally
all right.
fine.
So what else did you come up with?
Okay. Don't go into business with family. No, it's don't go into business without a plan and know who it is you're getting into business with. So I'm taking this a little meta. I think that, Wyatt Earp, the way he went about getting his first business in town was interesting. Slapping around people.
The first one was with Billy Bob Thornton, right?
Yeah. But I will say one of the best lines, I think, in cinematic history is, you just going to stand there and bleed?
Yeah. You're going to do something, or you're going to just stand there and bleed?
Yeah. I was like, write that one down, because that's a good one. I got chills. It was like so good.
Yeah.
But I think that there's always a problem when going into business with other people, because everybody wants to have a say.
Mm-hmm.
So for the listeners, if you're going to go into business, you have to write everything down, put everything in a contract. How are things going to go if things go well? How are things going to go if things go south? You have to have one person with a higher voting interest than everybody else. Somebody has to be the one to make the decision. I have a friend that's going into business. There are 4 business partners. They're splitting things 25%. I said, what happens when 2 of you go one way and 2 of you go the other?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I have had many conversations with folks starting businesses over the years, and people just, it's funny. I don't know what it is exactly, but I've seen this in myself, where there's like this optimistic blindness, like everything will be fine. We'll be on the same page. We'll just talk about it. The handshake is enough. And so that's a really good one.
Yeah, when everybody's feeling good, things are fine, no big deal. But when things go sideways, because life happens, somebody gets married and they're not paying attention to it anymore, or somebody gets sick and they can't be in the business, or they start something else. There's so many things that could possibly happen, and this isn't their lifeblood anymore, and ththey're doing something else. And like, what then? Or God forbid somebody dies, like, then you own it with their partner, like their spouse. And so, like, how do you do those things? So I think it's just really important to put it in writing, all of it, the good, bad, and the ugly.
And especially, it is dangerous to go into the family. They did it in the movie. They went into business with family, and that can in some ways be worse, because then, like, who wants to have Thanksgiving dinner with you? You didn't agree to what I wanted to do on Monday. And so, yeah, it's a good thing for us all to remember. I do think it can be done if everything is written. And like you said, if one person is leading, like this is the end all be all.
Right.
And truly, you know, as a leader, I've actually been watching a lot of entree leadership. If anybody knows entree leadership, it's really good for business leaders to look into that. They have YouTube and a book and all that. And so I've been watching that a lot lately. And there was a guy on there who was specifically talking about how difficult the conversation was when he told his dad that he was leaving the practice. You know, so if you want to do a business with family, just make sure it's clear, but I just wouldn't
Right.
suggest it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, maybe don't start a business with family. If it's a family business, like you started a business and your kids want to come in, there are ways to pass things on.
Yeah.
Going into starting something new sounds like we're inviting trouble.
Well, and that's interesting that you say it, because definitely there are many things that can be put into place for children. Like if you want to work here, you have to earn it like everybody else, not just your name gets you a job too.
Right.
You know, that's where I think a lot of people make the mistake. And then all of a sudden you've got Uncle Al in the mailroom and Jimmy mopping floors, and they're doing a terrible job because everybody's mail is lost and the floors look terrible.
Yeah. Yes. No. Do they have mail rooms anymore? Is that a thing? I'm sure it has to be,
I
right?
think it must be, or I mean, or at least a package room, especially maybe in New York, where you know, there's all these offices and people are getting delivered stuff. Yeah, I would think so. No, see us folks, we're not in corporate at all.
No. Yep. It's been a long time since I've been in any kind of office.
Yeah. Actually, my last job before I became a financial coach was an office manager. Did I ever tell you that? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
That was the last thing I did. So I'll tell you, this movie, you know, it always gets me pumped. And so even though there were some mistakes along the way, being brave to make the jump for a better life, you know, like we were talking about earlier, sometimes we have to live and move where we can afford it. It may not be where we want, but that's what Wyatt's trying to do. He's trying to have a new life, but also, you know, more money for it. And it may be far away from others, but I would just encourage everybody, you know, when you are thinking through those decisions, write them down, talk about it with your spouse. What do we want our future life to look like? And it can take steps. And I think, I don't know, you tell me, but, and I've tried to not do this myself, but there's definitely been some times where it's like, okay, what were my parents doing at my age? How much money did they have? Did they have the house? How many cars did they have? And comparing myself with that. And sometimes like, I want to do better. Like this push, like, I just want to keep doing better and one-upping everybody, to where it's like, there's actually only so much you can do, and that doesn't actually bring peace in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really important. I think it's something we all have to kind of look at ourselves, because sometimes we do it completely subconsciously. We don't even know we're doing it.
Yeah.
It was funny when you were saying that. I was like, I haven't thought about my parents at my age ever.
Ever? Really?
No. So I'm trying to think.
It's been a while for me. I think the last time I thought about that, I was like 28, 29.
So my mom had me the same age I was when I had my oldest daughter. So when I was 8, we moved. I had 3. No, we had moved like a year or 2 before, and I was going to public school. Had a house with a house payment. It's very interesting. I'm starting to think, but I can't think of. You're gonna make me think. I'm gonna have some like serious brain thoughts happening after this.
All right. Well, afterwards, if you want to come back and comment what your further thoughts are, do that.
I have so, because I don't think I've ever actually thought about it. I had a weird childhood, and my mom and dad were not together. They were separated. And yeah, so it's gonna take some unpacking for me to think about what.
Oh, wow, I just blew your mind right now.
You did. So this is why you need a financial coach, friends. Sometimes they ask questions that are deeper level questions. Going back to our movie.
Yeah.
Now that I'm all confused and confounded. Um,
Funded.
it's a Harry Potter thing, right? You get.
Is it?
I think so. Or is that a real thing?
I don't know.
I've been reading way too much Harry Potter. We're almost at the end of the Deathly Hallows. I've read it before. My 8-year-old, it's her first
Are you
time.
saying we're going to have to do Harry Potter at some point?
Yes, please. Thumbs up. Apparently. How does that happen? Sometimes when you go like this, it makes balloons. Can I make balloons happen? No?
But going back to the movie, Laura.
Sorry. Okay. Y'all, it is Friday. You can tell. One of the lessons that I think is apparent in this movie is that your reputation is your currency. Your reputation is your legacy. Your financial opportunities are impacted by your reputation. They just are. With Wyatt Earp, everybody knew who he was. You say your name and everybody knew him.
Yeah.
He had a reputation. Thankfully, it was a positive one. I mean, I guess it depends on what side of the law you're on, right?
Yeah.
But it definitely impacts your financial opportunities. If people know you as a person that doesn't pay back your debts and is irresponsible and bad with money, they're not going to give you opportunities the same way people that know that you're going to stand your ground, you're going to do what you say you're going to do, like they're going to want to do business with you. And so I think that reputation as a currency is something that we need to pay attention to. Your legacy, right? It's not just about the money that you leave behind. Wyatt Earp, I don't have any idea whether or not he had money. I know he ended up in California. I know he had a house out here.
Well, remember his future wife at the end, she's like, don't worry, my family's rich, remember?
Oh, right. Okay. I was thinking more like in real life. I can't remember if he had money, and in real life, he
was okay.
Yeah.
How he is, and I just love history movies. How he made his money in his later years was being like a guy that real like Western movies went to help choreograph and like what did real people do. That's why at the end of the movie they said Western film star Tom Mix wept because he knew Wyatt Earp in the movies.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I mean, my thought on that is more. I know who Wyatt Earp is. I have no idea about his financial situation, right? Yeah. Like even before this movie, I knew who he was. It's not like I was watching the movie and going, Wyatt Earp, that's a new character I've never heard of. Doc Holliday, that's a new character I've never heard of. Granted, we have Western books out the wazoo at my house, so like I have pictures of them all over the place. It's fine. My husband is from Kansas, so big fan. So I just think it's one of those things where we need to remember how important a reputation is and how that does actually impact our financial potential in the future.
And I was going to say that, the reputation, it goes because people might be thinking of the things that people could see, like, I don't know, a credit report or what do I have in my front yard or whatever. But I think what you're talking about as well is our word and being people who do what we say we're going to do. And hey, guess what? Being a good employee who shows up on time, that's going to affect how much money you get because you might get a raise or a promotion.
Yeah.
So it's all those things that can affect our finances.
Yeah.
Let's have good character.
Yeah, everybody. It's easy to say than do sometimes. If you have a bad reputation, it's very hard to change. But if you have a good reputation, it's very easy to mess up.
Oh, interesting. Because I don't know. I would say I agree mostly, but at the same time, if you have a really good reputation, you probably get a little bit more grace too.
It's true. It's true.
Because like, whoa, that's not the person I knew.
Yeah, that's strange. That was very out of character for them. If people know your character, that can be a good and a bad thing, right? Because then you have a lot to live up to. Yeah,
that's true. All right, so I need to somehow use the best line in the entire movie. And I don't know if you're going to beat me to it or not. Do you have any other ones? Because I'm trying to look for a great spot to use the best line in the movie.
No, but I'm excited because I know what one I've already told you my favorite. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's the most well-known line. So I guess at the end of the day, when it comes to our money, when it comes to our lives, you want to look right into the camera and say, I'm your Huckleberry.
Do you not cry? Do you not cry just thinking about it? I don't know.
Well, I mean, what makes that best is when he says that, you know, he's dying.
I know.
You know, and are you sad because Val Kilmer's actually dead?
It hits harder.
It does. It does. Just seeing, like, because I don't know about you, but I can never miss the end credits where they're just walking. You know, the three brothers, and now it's like two of those guys have passed on now. Because Bill Paxton and Val Kilmer.
Oh, I hadn't even put that together. Look at that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you like my mom. Yep. And hi, Mom. I see you. But yeah, so those two, and it's funny because I believe Kurt Russell and oh my gosh, what's his name? What's the oldest brother's name?
Virgil.
Yeah. Well, I know that.
I looked it up last night too. Dang it. Because I was trying to figure out what movie he was in. No, it wasn't him. It was Curly Bill that I was like, how do I know you?
Oh, he is actually in the first Avengers movie. Did you know that? Yeah, and he was on the council that Nick Fury was talking to.
Oh.
Well,
no, that's not where I know from.
My mom says Curly Bill's passed on too. I believe I saw that.
Not crazy. Where are they all going? Hold on.
Well,
I'm going to IMDb. Hold on. You keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, I was going to start shutting us down because we're just about to time, Laura. So just a reminder to everyone, now after our show, I download it and I put it on to the YouTube channel that I just started. It's under construction, but it has all of the previous Movie Money mashups. And I was telling everybody beforehand.
Sam Elliott. Sorry.
Yeah, Sam Elliott, of course. I was telling everybody beforehand, Laura, that I realized that on the event, I've been calling it I think it's the Money Movie Mashup, but I'm going to change it because Movie Money is better. And I keep saying it that way, so I think it's better. So when we have a few more left, and I'm just going to leave it that way. But in the future, when I make more events, I'm going to change it because it's better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Movie Money Mashup. What do you think of my background? I tried to show more of my movies today.
I like it. I like the orange lamp in the back.
Yeah, that's actually from my in-laws. They just didn't want it anymore, and I thought it was cool. Makes me look smart. I mean, I'm trying to get the reputation.
Yeah. No, yes, it was Powers Booth, and I know him from somewhere, and I can't for the life. Your mom commented who it was. I can't for the life of me figure out where I know him from.
Oh, he's been in quite a few things.
He's been in everything, and I think that's the problem. There's like his IMDb is pages long, and I'm like,
yeah.
There's something. And when I find out what it is, I will post it and I will scream it to the world because.
And I will say, real quick, give a little love to Johnny Ringo. That guy is his name is Michael Bain, and he's always been a pretty cool actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, I don't think there was a 2-bit player in this. I think everybody was really spot on. Just excellent casting. Well done.
Yeah. Well, and what's the actress's name that marries Wyatt Earp?
I don't remember.
Well, in that character, her character in real life, you can actually Google right now. And do you remember in the movie when she was in the black shawl getting a picture done?
Yeah.
That is real. So you can actually see
you can see the picture.
You can see the picture of her in that black shawl. That really happened.
Well, that's cool. Hey, 2 birds, 1 stone. I like it. Use your resources wisely, friends. That's a money quote for you for today. Hold on. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find her. This is Dana Delaney.
Yeah, Dana Delaney. I knew that. Oh,
I did too.
You were late, Mom.
Kick myself.
Yeah, she's been in all sorts of stuff. And actually, one of the things, I don't know why, it's so silly. The old cartoon show Animaniacs, at the very end of the opening song, a few times they say Dana Delaney to the Animaniacs thing, and I don't know why they put that.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I guess she was a big star back in the mid-90s.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I love Animaniacs.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Totally different thing. Totally different thing. All right. Well, thank you for making me rewatch this movie. It has been forever.
Yeah. Did you like it more or just as much as you did the first time? Or did you even remember it the first time? Or?
No, I didn't remember a whole lot of the first time. I watched it the first time because I liked a boy and I could have cared less. Could not have cared less about the movie. I was like, okay, this is stupid. Why am I watching it? I didn't even like him that much. But this time with my husband and the kids, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Actually, oh my gosh, I forgot. I'm sorry. One more thing, guys. Charlton Heston was in the movie. Wasn't that so
Yes,
cool?
he was.
Yeah. Did you remember that?
No, I didn't remember anything the first time, but like,
and it's like there was absolutely no reason for him to be in the movie. He was just there for like the shortest part ever, but it was just so cool to see him.
Yeah, I know.
We'll
I
have
think he
to.
probably just walked on the set that day, and they're like, "Hey, come be in."
Could be. Maybe he was doing his friend's thing, and maybe it was in the same studio because that was close. I think maybe it was a couple years later. Do you remember that episode with Joey where he's like, "Get out of there, son, so I can kick your butt"? Do you remember that episode? No. Wow.
I'm not a Friends girl.
Oh, really? Okay. I am not a Friends boy, but my wife is a Friends girl, so I've picked up some things, and I remember Charlton Heston because he's awesome. All right, everybody. Well, in 2 weeks we'll do it again. Thanks so much for coming by, and yeah, let us know what you would love to hear from next. Make it hard. Give us something difficult that you think there is absolutely no money lesson in it at all.
Right? I mean, this one, there was actually money on the table. So come on, guys. Make it hard. Let's go.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. 2, 3. Bye.